Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another brand new episode of the John and Wendy Show here on the Outlaw Nation. I am the John portion of that title there, the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the better half, Wendy Lee Zaney. Wendy, how are you?
I'm good. I am good. It's just busy. There's a lot of stuff happening. We're going to get into it, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into. You're right. I mean, we got some Tomb Raider breaking news here with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, some Critical Role stuff happening. We got some bunch of new trailers that started dropping over the week here for stuff that's coming out next month or in March. So we got some reviews, new shows that have popped up, some K-pop news, some Disney news. There's so much happening here. So you all come to hang out with us on a Friday to chill out, put your feet up, get a drink, and hang out with Wendy and I. So trust me, we've got a lot to entertain you with today. So, strap in and get ready. And don't forget, the Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. So please send in your support as we go along throughout the show. Any questions, thoughts, or comments you want to send in to make sure they get read on the show, send them in through the Streamlabs and Super Chats here as we go along. But Wendy, we like to check in with each other. You said you're busy. What do you got going on? What have you been promoting? What's going on in your life? What's the deal here?
There is just a lot of things. There's a lot of content, which I am happy for because for a little while, the numbers on the YouTube, because of the holidays, this happens every year, so it's not new, but it was like low. And I was like, it was like low. And I was like, what is happening? So I'm happy to be busy. But the thing is that I don't have an editor for hire that I'm working with.
Okay.
So everything that you guys see on the channel is either I'm doing it or it's Dustin doing it. It's like majority is me because I have the most flexibility.
Right.
So that part is good, but we've got shows like The Bad Batch, which I haven't watched the latest episode, and I'll get into why.
Wow.
We've got Vox Machina season 2 that is on air right now.
Yes.
The Last of Us episode 2, haven't watched it. Again, I'll tell you why in a second. Plus, there's all these things that are, movie screenings that are happening, award shows that are happening, different things like that. So, and plus, like, the opportunity to work.
Yes.
That, takes me out of the home, but I'm grateful for it. And I'm not going to turn down an opportunity to work to, make some extra money. Because people think like YouTubers, unless you're in like the millions, like people think like we're like swimming in the money. And I was like, do you know how much AdSense pays? Nothing. We have to work really, really hard to get that money. So whenever there's an opportunity, plus I have fun on these jobs. So here's the kicker is that I actually have, like, I was doing kind of okay. I was a little late. I was a little stressed out, but I was going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then Dustin gets noticed so he also works. He has 2 separate jobs.
Yes.
Both of his jobs called him within the same hour and said, hey, you worked with so-and-so today. You were in close contact with them because you're exposed to them for over 15 minutes.
Oh.
They tested positive for COVID.
Oh, man.
So he's like, well, great. And he's literally just getting over some sort of bug that is not COVID or flu. We talked about this last time, right?
Yeah.
So I just looked at him. He's like, what do you want to do? I go, well, I'm not getting sick. We can't both be sick.
Let's put this on the table right now. I'm not getting sick. So whatever you need to do to make sure I don't get sick, that's what we're doing.
I had COVID. I don't want it again. I'm not ready for it. It wrecked me.
Thanks.
I don't want it. It did weird things to me, and I don't like it. And I say this with someone who had a very sickly history as a child. I was always at the doctors. I was always at the hospitals. I was always throwing up. I was always sick. So like I've been sick. I've been on many hospital beds overnight on IV drips.
Yeah.
So people are like, "Oh, you're healthy." I was like, "You don't know my medical history. You don't."
Yeah.
So what we were kind of already doing this because I was trying not to catch what Dustin had prior. So he's been like sleeping in the bedroom. I've set up my like little area on the couch where I've been sleeping. It's been 2 weeks, and then we get this news. So I have to sleep on the couch longer. And furthermore, I can't even sit next to him to do anything.
Right.
Reactions, whatever. So it's like I feel like I'm living with a roommate, not my husband. You know what I'm saying? But it's all to try to avoid the both of us having COVID. So that is what's happening, and that is putting a giant like hiccup in my plans for the channel. Luckily, I still now I'm using that time to edit a few videos, so it's okay, but that still
Yeah.
means I have a lot to catch up on. So it's like I'm freaking out. And I am freaking out.
All right. Well, I can understand that. It seems like a lot to take on, a lot that's going
Yeah.
on.
I
So
haven't cracked yet, but
no.
once I do, be careful.
Yeah, please don't crack on this show. We like to be
No, 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 no,
relaxed on this show.
no.
And hopefully this is a good, relaxing situation for you. Oh, enjoying some Jersey Mike's. Now I'm jealous. Now I'm
Yeah,
jealous. Little
yeah. Love it.
shout out to
Not
those stuff.
sponsored, but
Not
you can
sponsored.
sponsor us if you'd like.
Yeah, we'd love Jersey Mike's sponsors. Absolutely. But no, I hear you. I hear you exactly. Things are starting to ramp up. You can feel it. I mean, January was kind of weird. I was in this bit of funk, like, what is happening? Nothing much to talk about. What do we do here? And I had to kind of let that go. But then you start to feel the energy coming back here of stuff that's going to start popping up. These trailers this week, teasing stuff that's coming up very, very soon. We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania happening. The screenings are starting to happen starting next week. And so, or in February rather. So it's like, this is going to start ramping up. We've got a bunch of new series that have popped off. So I hope everybody enjoyed January, because here we go, man. The roller coaster is just about to get over to the top and start carrying down for the next 11 months, I think, of stuff for us to talk about. So everybody needs to get ready for all of that for sure. So I don't envy you, Wendy, where you're at, because I mean, the more successful you're becoming on your channel, the more opportunities that are popping up for you, and that demands more of your time. So, sending you all kinds of support as you're doing that kind of jazz for sure.
Thank you.
But it's a good problem to have for sure.
Yeah, it is a really good problem to have. I'm not taking it for granted. But I do feel like I have to release some of the pressure a little bit. If I keep it all inside, then I'll crack sooner than later.
We got to get you some weights. We're gonna get you a punching bag.
Yeah, I was gonna just
just go at it. All right, well, we're going to get into a bunch of stuff here, as we said here, jumping into some news from the entertainment world. We got 32 you watching us right now. Thanks so much for joining us. Please make sure you hit a like on this video, subscribe to the channel down below, and if you're watching later, hit a like and leave a comment as we get going into these things. So shout out to Bruce and MK Somberg, Zach, Jeremy, Star Drew, Gnome, Phil P, and Travis for joining us right off the bat. Wendy, where shall we go first?
Let's get into some breaking news, because this is fun to talk about. So we've got Hollywood Reporter with the exclusive, and we know that video game adaptations are not new, but we're seeing I think, especially of late, it feels like we're seeing a lot more of them. With the very successful The Last of Us, that is currently on HBOMax right now. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, which were both super successful. Detective Pikachu. So it totally makes sense that they want to turn another major gaming franchise into a TV series over at Amazon, and that is going to be Tomb Raider. And what's cool is it looks like Phoebe Waller-Bridge is set to write the script. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, because she's got Indiana Jones coming out very soon. So staying in kind of like the treasure hunting vein there by jumping over to Showrun a Tomb Raider series. And look, we've been kind of snake bit with Tomb Raider, right? Like the first one with Angelina Jolie, certainly some people like it. The second one wasn't so good. Then we had the Alicia Vikander version, and again, some people like it, but wasn't 100% that well received. So now we have Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I thought did an excellent job on the Bond rewrites, obviously creating Killing Eve, Fleabag, and now we'll see what her work is like on the Indiana Jones movie very soon later on this year. But now sliding into Tomb Raider, a feminist icon type character with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who of course has been very outspoken about how she wants to write these things and how women need to be in the women need to be in the room, women need to be at the writers' tables. So I think this is a great combination. It's going to be fascinating too. Like, they haven't said she's going to be playing Tomb Raider, which would surprise me.
She's not going to appear in the show.
Yeah, I was going to say it would surprise me if she played Lara Croft, but it could be a very good opportunity for a female point of view, which we haven't gotten yet in terms of the approach to show us what Lara Croft could be through a a woman's eyes and through a woman's
Yeah.
lens.
Yeah. I mean, look, I didn't mind the Alicia Vikander one. I
Yeah.
don't think it's like the greatest, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was bad at all. I was still entertained, but I think with Phoebe Waller-Bridge attached to Wright,
Yeah.
I loved her in Fleabag. Who doesn't? I think most people I've talked to just sing her praises. I really enjoy what she did with Killing Eve. That
Yes.
is like
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorite shows, minus the very last episode of the final season. But by then, she wasn't even attached to the show anymore.
Right.
So I love what she created there. And can we take that and put that sort of a vibe into Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
That would be great. Like the interesting writing, like these characters, and for Lara Croft to have all these different complexities and layers, and not just, treasure hunter. Like there should be so much more to her.
Yeah.
And I think the series is the right way to do it. So I believe Amazon, the Hollywood Reporter did reach out to Amazon for comments, which they did not immediately respond. So maybe they're putting together some sort of statement announcement before they do that. I'm sure there's things to finish firming up before they can do that. But this is actually pretty exciting. And just like looking at the success of The Last of Us and how to tell these stories in long form, like I would have loved to seen this for Uncharted, to do it in a format of like a series, streaming series, TV series, because you have the longer time to tell that story more thoroughly.
That's a great, excellent point. Yeah, because the most recent video game, well, I guess video games have had very layered story elements with numerous scenes, extensive character arcs and storylines within their overall construct and the story that they're telling. So it makes sense to explore things in a TV series format, because you have more time to flesh out these characters and get to know this world and and feel the world, immerse yourself in the world. And I agree with you. Uncharted just seems ripe for doing a TV series out of. And so does Tomb Raider, right? How many different worlds? What are the artifacts? Is there going to be an overall story amidst her different adventures per episode? Who's going to be brought in to be a part of her world? What new characters from the most recent iterations of the games are going to maybe make appearances? So there's a lot to explore here. But I think at the end of the day, it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge taking on a female-led franchise and bringing her perspective to it. Great mixture of comedy, dark comedy, and serious stuff. Like she's like with Killing Eve, amidst all the wacky, insane, unsettling, funny black kind of comedy, there was actual real shit going on emotionally between these characters. So if she can strike that right tone, I think we're in for a hell of a series.
Yeah. So here's to hoping that we hear more news about it soon. I think it's too soon to talk about casting because we don't really know what kind of story they want to tell with Lara, and what age essentially she'll be set, up for. So like depending on that, once they release more information, then we can kind of take a look at casting. But this can be exciting because I think sometimes with movies, when you think gaming and there's just so much story to tell, right? So you're thinking like, multi-movie deal, which usually for big IPs like that, I think that's how the contract would work anyway. Like the, potential to appear in the following films. But the series, I feel like it would just make more sense, and it depends on which game they want to follow.
Yeah.
Because it'd have to follow, I think, one of the games. So
yeah, exactly. And I've played 3 of the video games, like on the PlayStations. Oh yeah, I love playing the Tomb Raider game. She's great. She's a great character, and they're fun to explore. And years ago, I don't know if you remember, I dated a girl named Jamie Jean, and she loved. She worked at Universal and Disney as characters. She loved playing the Tomb Raider. So we used to sit, like we'd buy the game, and all weekend we would play for hours on end trying to solve the game. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that was really fun to do for sure. But yeah. So we'll see what happens. And Mr. Yasman 3000 pointing out that Haley Atwell will be voicing over Lara Croft in a new Netflix animated series. So if they're going live action, I think you're going to go with younger. Somebody mentioning Daisy Edgar Jones could be really interesting. I like her as an actress, so could be right in her wheel. She's right in the same age. It would be perfect for her to do something like that, and so could be fun to explore. We shall see.
We will see. We will see.
All right, where do you want to head off to next year, Wendy?
Since we're talking about video game adaptations, turning them into series, let's talk about The Last of Us. And we won't stay too long on this topic because I feel like all of us knew this was going to happen. There was so much hype build up around this show. And then episode 1 premiered and everybody lost their damn minds, right? Because it was good.
Yes.
Episode 2 is out right now, which hopefully I'll get to watch by this Saturday. Fingers crossed. That Dustin, he just continues to test. He's been testing, knock on wood, guys. Everybody knock on wood real quick. Let's take a wood knocking break.
Yeah.
He's been testing negative so far. So we're just going to hope that he continues to test negative, because if that's the case, by like Saturday, we can probably sit down and watch the episode together. And by then I'll have episode 1 completely finished. Editing, because I've already part 1 is actually already uploaded on YouTube. You guys just can't see it because it's on private.
Right.
But part 2 is in the edit right now, which is what I'll be doing after this show. But the show is great. I already feel like I kind of saw some of the spoiler stuff for episode 2 because I forgot to mute the words.
Okay.
On Twitter, I did that now. So, but
right.
What I saw was that people were like, "It was so scary," and I was like, "Okay, well." It's fine. I haven't played the game, so I don't even know what's coming next. But HBO has renewed The Last of Us for season 2. And I like the tagline that they used here on Variety. HBO has renewed The Last of Us for season 2. Faster than a deadly fungus can spread. Are you surprised by this?
No, not in the least. And it's what is not necessarily surprising, interesting, I would say, is that they're renewing this on the heels of all these other shows being canceled, a lot of stuff being in flux at HBOMax. We just had Doom Patrol and Titans getting canceled. There are Minx has been moved off to another channel. There are a number of these shows that HBOMax has either stopped showing or canceled or moved off their channel, so they don't want to pay residuals. But I think what they're understanding here is you can combine all the things you want. HBO is known for making premier high-level dramas, and the occasional comedy stuff as well, but premier high-level dramas, The Wire, The Sopranos, House of the Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, and
Hot D.
What's that?
I said Hot D.
Exactly. Yeah. Hot D. So you look at this and it's like, okay, great. This is another example of how great HBO can be when they bring the right people together. Chernobyl, with Craig Mazin, of course, coming over from Chernobyl to join Neil Druckmann for this. What's interesting, though, is because they came out and said, Neil Druckmann came out and said that the first season is going to be stuff from the first iteration of the game. And so you assume the second season, now that it's been greenlit, will be The Last of Us Part 2. And apparently there were a couple of controversial things that happened in The Last of Us Part 2, the video game. So you wonder if they're going to do that for the show. We'll see. But he said,
I was not aware of the controversy. I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, neither can I. But he said in interviews that he will not do Game of Thrones. And by that, he means we won't keep going with the show if it veers away from the video games. Like, we're not going to create new mythology for the show. But if you're greenlighting season 2, 2 episodes into season 1, and Naughty Dog has come out and said, or there have been reports circulating that Naughty Dog might not go forward with another version of The Last of Us. What are you going to use for your source material if you go past season 2? So is this only season 1 and season 2? Or are you saving some stories from both the first version of the game and the sequel to the game and using those possibly for a season 3? So a lot of questions I have here, but overall, great stuff. Excited to see a season 2. And because I'm loving season 1 so far.
Yeah. I love episode 1. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'll watch episode 2 later. God, I have so much to watch. I've got like 6-7 hours of TV.
Wow.
And that's just the Bad Batch, Vox Machina, and The Last of Us. How long was episode 2? Shorter.
52 minutes.
Not by much.
If you remove the credits and remove the previously on The Last of Us and the little promo about the podcast, it's about 52 minutes. So that's what I would say.
Okay. I guess I'll
And
split that one into part 1 and part 2 for editing
there's a great
as well.
5 minutes
Mhm.
about the episode doc after the credits, which I think is
Okay.
great to watch if you want to watch it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, I think, you know, um, with Game of Thrones, that was kind of unfortunate
Mm,
as far as like the timeline goes
yeah.
because the book wasn't finished.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about that. You can't really rush the process of a creative process of a writer. You
Yeah.
just can't. But then, they got the money to produce a show and the show was popular and it was gaining also new fans to Game of Thrones.
Right.
So it's like as a business, why would you not make it?
Yeah.
Right? But then I feel like that's why the final season and the final episodes were kind of hit or miss
Yes.
with the fans depending on how you viewed it. And again, if you loved it, we love that for you.
Right.
But I think shows and series and people who are show running it have an understanding of this is the story we're going to tell, and when we get here, it is done.
Yeah.
That's what I can respect, and that I feel like makes a really good storytelling and a good show. Like
Mhm.
something that's completely in a different genre, but The Last of Us. No, sorry, that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
They knew when it was time to end it. It was super successful. If they wanted to make more, people would have watched it, but the story was done.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
finished telling it, and then so they ended it. And I think I really respect that decision because like who doesn't want to make more money?
Right.
Right? What actor doesn't want a consistent job?
What showrunner doesn't want a
Right.
consistent job? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I feel like when I see that I'm kind of like, "Oh, that's refreshing." Putting that art before the money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. A lot of British shows are like that. They're like Luther was only 3 to 6 episodes a season.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of British shows that are just done after the 3rd season. There's that
Yeah.
we've told our story. Like Ricky Gervais ends almost all his shows after the 3rd season. So it's just like he wants to move on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
it's a novel concept, and it's rare in American series, but why not? I think it'd be
Yeah.
very interesting to see if they just went, we're just doing 2 seasons. That's it. And Pedro's in demand for a number of things. So does he have the time to
What other type of daddy can he play?
Yeah.
That is he plays it's the best.
Yeah.
Space daddy, done. Zombie daddy, done.
Yeah, Zaddy, he's done. I need to see Fungal Daddy, Fatty. He's
Fungal
he's
daddy.
done. I need to see him in a rom-com as a dad, a single dad. It's gotta happen.
Oh my god, it's gotta happen.
Please.
It's gotta happen. He's just gotta
Make it
keep up the trend.
Yeah.
God, I love him. Did you see the one thing where he was taking, I think it's The Wired or Vanity Fair, like takes a lie detector test?
I've seen those
The clip?
videos, but I haven't seen his episode. No.
There's one of Pedro. You can look it up because it's really
Okay.
short. It's on Twitter.
Okay.
It's just like him very quickly saying, like, I think the question was, and he's already hooked up to the lie detector machine. Are you more daddy than? I'm paraphrasing. Are you more daddy than Oscar Isaac? And those two are like buddies, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I think it's me. He's like, well, and then he kind of went into well, it makes sense that I'm saying that because I'm older than him.
Right.
But then he went back and he's like, but he's an actual dad.
Right.
But I'm not an actual dad.
Right.
But he's like, you know what? Daddy is a state of mind. I was like, that's going to be on a t-shirt very soon. Daddy is a state of mind.
Man. I love that.
Oh,
Mr. Yasmin said a remake of 3 Men and a Baby with Pedro Pascal, Oscar Isaac, and Jamie Foxx. No, you gotta go all Latino.
I gotta go with Pedro, Oscar, and I almost cussed. Diego Luna. Sorry.
Yeah, Diego Luna, or even Gail Garcia Bernal after what he did in Werewolf by Night.
Any of them. What? You know what? Let's make it 4.
Make it 4. Yeah.
2 of them can be a couple. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like that. I love that idea.
I don't know. I love it. I love them. I love them all so much. I love them all so much.
I think it's so much.
Yeah.
All right. So
put Gabrielle Luna in there too. Why not?
My God.
Add it all.
Make it happen. And yeah, no, oh, never mind. I'm not going to spoil anything. All right. Yeah, John
Moving
Rogan.
on.
I can play Granddad. Absolutely. Put a beard on me. Let's do it. All right. Moving on. Let's move on to our next thing, Wendy, and we'll take a break after this. What do we got here?
So this wasn't even in the original lineup, the very first topic under our opening, but I saw this and I thought, well, that's an interesting read. So this is an article by Variety, and it says the original Cowboy Bebop director, of the anime series, Japanese anime, shut off Netflix's live action remake after just one scene, and says, quote, clearly it's not clear Cowboy Bebop. I was shocked when I saw this. I was like, oh, he didn't even try to. I mean, I get it. He's very close to the series. The man directed
it. Series. Yeah.
You know. So granted, I also was so excited for Cowboy Bebop. I love the manga and I love the anime.
Yeah.
So much. And I didn't even make it to how many episodes are there? 10, right? I think 10. I made it a 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't. I love John Cho.
Yeah.
And I just, he might have been he was okay. Sorry, the show was okay, but it's a very different vibe than what everybody thought we were gonna get. They try to make it really stylish, which I can respect, and that's a new fresh thing to do for an original series.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily needed, all this stuff. Cool transitions, poppy colors or whatever for an anime that already exists and that's beloved. I think anytime you take any property like that, it's going to always be under the audience scrutiny.
Yeah.
But for the director to say this, wow.
I know. Well, it's really curious because remember that situation with what was that animated? Oh, with Avatar. Remember they moved the original creators, Netflix did, off that Avatar.
You talking The Last Airbender?
Yeah, Last Airbender. Yes, I'm trying to say Avatar, Last Airbender. So yeah, so they moved the creators off of their Netflix adaptation. And here is Netflix not even screening this episode for the original director of Cowboy Bebop, not even creating a possibility for this person to see it, and then or getting their tips or getting their heads up or getting their opinions or getting their advice.
Oh, even as an advisor. Point.
Right? That to me seems odd on so many levels. And they had this issue with Death Note as well. So I don't know how many times.
Death Note, that was not the same.
Right? And so I don't know.
I think the only thing I liked was Willem Dafoe's portrayal of the Shinigami.
But I just don't know how many times they need to get their hand burnt before they stop sticking it in the fire. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer that you get. Look at what's happening with The Last of Us. The reason people are loving it is because Neil Druckmann, who is the co-creator of the game, is part of the live adaptation. You don't think that the director of the Cowboy Bebop that shouldn't have been involved in the process all the way through to help you retain the spirit of the show while you were making the adaptation into live action? It is so frustrating how these executives and creative executives don't realize how essential and important it is to have the love of the game be an energy throughout the creative process and transferring it to live action. So I just don't understand.
Yeah, here's a quote from the director of the original series, whose name, I'm going to mess up this name, Shinichiro Watanabe, who said this in the article, quote, for the new Netflix live action adaptation, they sent me a video to review and check. It started with a scene in a casino, which made it very tough for me to continue. I stopped there and so only saw that opening scene. And then he continues, quote, it was clearly not Cowboy Bebop, and I realized that at that point that if I wasn't involved, it would not be Cowboy Bebop.
Right.
I felt that maybe I should have done this, although the value of the original anime is somehow far higher now.
Well, that's actually a really good point. It works out in his favor that he is much more. His work is now going to be even more elevated or more respected or more admired. Because in comparison to the live action, it's miles better. So yeah, man, I agree with you, Wendy. That live action showed up and left. Like it was here and then it was gone because everyone really turned on it. And
The intro
yeah,
was good. It was like shot for shot. Like
yeah.
I thought that was interesting. But then, I should have seen the warning signs because you know what other anime to live action did a shot for shot intro?
What's that?
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh boy.
Shot for shot. And the second I remember Dustin saw it, he kind of leaned back in his seat. He goes, "Oh no." And I was like, "Why, you don't think it looks good?" And he said, "No." And I was like, "We haven't even seen the movie yet." 20 minutes in, I was ready to walk out the theater. I didn't. I stayed because
Yeah.
it's The Last Airbender, but that movie was please, please let the live action Avatar, The Last Airbender be good.
Yeah.
Please. I really like the cast. I think they've got the right kind of casting.
Hmm. Certainly honoring, the heritage of the
Yeah.
characters there, but yeah.
So I was like, please don't. I can't. If this one isn't good, then you just know you got to keep Airbender animated.
Yeah.
That's where it thrives. That's its original form, and it's amazing, and everybody should watch it.
Yeah. Agreed. Brandon says, what is the next animated Disney film you want to see Disney take on? I vote Atlantis and Pocahontas. I imagine Brandon's asking in terms of live action adaptation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would love an Atlantis, The Lost Empire live action.
That movie's so slept on.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a great series? Like we just had the National Treasure series. If you do an Atlantis, The Lost Empire series, I think people would love that. If you're willing to sink some money into that, people would be on board with that situation. Pocahontas could be tricky. Native American
Because
stuff.
it's also if they can't do it directly. Well, I guess they'd have to do it directly.
Yeah.
How the anime, so which means they age Pocahontas up.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the historical fact, if you probably have
she's
learned in school, she's like 13 years old.
it's
There's nothing really romantic about that. I think we should leave Pocahontas. Like if you like the animation, like I like the animation a lot when I was young and I watched it and I was like really obsessed with all things Pocahontas until I got older and then I learned about it, like the actual events in school. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
So, but the animation again is it's gorgeous. I would like to see The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah. And I need
that's
beautiful
great.
music.
It's a good point. Because Wendy, we haven't seen a live action of that since like the 1930s that had any kind of resonance in the mainstream pop culture. So if you did a musical version of the live action adaptation,
beautiful.
That could be incredible. Because Aladdin, nobody thought that was going to work, and that worked. So why couldn't Hunchback of Notre Dame work, for God's sakes?
Yeah. I need Hunchback of Notre Dame. I need John Chu to produce it because he'll understand how the music plays into certain scenes. And how to make that work. I need Lin-Manuel Miranda to work with him on this. Like let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Is
Josh Gad producing a live action? No! Sorry. I feel like Steve Carell in the office. No! God, no!
Wait, is that true at all or no?
I don't want Josh Gad near anything like that. Anyway.
Why don't you like him? What's wrong?
I have a blood feud with Josh Gad.
Did you watch him perform in the Book of Mormon?
Yeah. But I love his Olaf. But whatever he was doing in Beauty and the Beast. Whatever he's doing in Beauty and the Beast. No thank you.
Oh, well.
That
could also be a direction thing.
Yeah, it could possibly be. You're probably
we don't know.
Plus, he was hosting that podcast where he was bringing people back together from old shows, and I was like, "Ew, I want to host something like that." Anyway, Andy Serkis. No, it won't be Andy Serkis. Anyway, I think for me, it's Hercules. It's always been Hercules.
They're doing it.
Oh, they're doing the live action. Okay, then if
the Russos are.
Tarzan. What about no? That's Hercules. Tarzan. I love Tarzan, and I know we've seen multiple iterations of Tarzan.
In my heart.
Yeah, but Disney's Tarzan is probably the only iteration I would want to ever see again of Tarzan. And I think that story is so well done in that framework that it could be fun to see live action, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get Brendan Fraser. No, I'm just joking. Put him back to swinging the tree.
George in the Jungle. Again,
one more time.
George back in the jungle.
George back in the jungle too. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break here for our not for you guys, but for the podcast, for our sponsors here, and we'll be right back right after this. All right, Wendy, where are we off to next?
We got a snazzy new trailer to talk about, and that is for the Shazam Fury of Gods trailer. I think you and Jeff already talked about this.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. What did you think?
Talk that much about that shit.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because on this show we've talked about a lot of, what is the future of DC? We don't really know. Is Shazam going to be a part of the hard reboot? Or is it not? What do we think? Did you like the first one?
I thought, the first movie, I thought it was okay. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I think it was a little too jokey and cute and childlike, and I got that it was being big for, like Tom Hanks is big, and it was a nice counter programming to Zack Snyder's heavier, darker type stuff. But I like my Shazam to be a little bit of a harder edge, a little more angst driven about the difference between being a kid and being Shazam. So it didn't 100% work for me. But this trailer, I liked. I liked this trailer. I thought it was a nice switch in tone halfway through, that it got a little bit like they were dealing with some real shit.
Yeah.
The fact that the Daughters of Atlas want to take his power away from him because they think he stole it. What is Jumon Hansu? What's the true story of how Jumon Hansu got these powers to give out to people? And then we see in the back half of the trailer that there's a lot of stuff's in the dark. A lot of stuff's like sad. It almost seems like he's being separated from his friend because he might be sacrificing his life to save the world. And then you see his outfit getting dark, so almost like a Black Adam type of look to it. So to me, overall, I thought this trailer worked really well. I just wanted some more Rachel Zegler because we don't even know what she's doing in the movie.
I think they're keeping that a secret.
Yeah, feels like that, huh?
But I love that we got to see her for like a split second. In the reaction, I was like, Rachel Zegler, and then she was gone. I was like, all right. I liked it a lot too, for all the things you said.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the first one. I kind of liked that it was such a juxtaposition to the darker DC stuff. I'll take superhero movies in whatever form they feel like is the best way to tell the story. So if it's going to be all super serious and dark, like the Nolan Batman stuff or like the Snyder stuff, like I love it. I live for it. If you wanted to make it, and Shazam is one of those characters, you can kind of put some more bright colors and jokes and et cetera, lighter tone to it because of who the superhero is with Billy. But now that we've gotten to know the character, now we're going to introduce some major conflicts and consequences, and how, not just how he would deal with, the issue that is coming up as a superhero with superpowers, but at its core, they're all kids.
Yeah.
And now they have this heavy burden of like trying to save the world, trying to save each other. And if they don't give up their power, like then what? So I'm very excited for this. I love seeing Helen Mirren, just like she's in Fast and Furious. She's in superhero movies. So just let her do it all. It's amazing. I love that Lucy Liu's playing a villain because she doesn't get to do it too often.
Yeah. So
it's nice when we get to see her be mean, because I think she's good at it, like because she's a good actress. I'm not saying she's mean,
right?
So, I've never met her, but I'm sure she's very nice. I've never heard otherwise. So,
Wendy, can I talk to you? I've heard you say some things about.
I've heard you. I would faint.
Yeah,
I would faint. So. He'll be like, I don't know. I don't hear a word you say. I just want to look at your face.
Yeah, what was the film? Oh, Payback, the film that Gibson did a long time ago. Lucy Liu in that played this kind of villainous dominatrix type person who ran her own crew. And certainly as Oren Ishii in Kill Bill, we've seen her be ferocious when she needs to be. So it's not out of her wheelhouse. So it'll be fascinating to see how they work together and what roles they're playing as the Daughters of Atlas in terms of their confrontation with Shazam. Yeah.
And all the creatures too. We got a dragon, we got black unicorns, we got a manticore, we got a maybe I saw a minotaur.
A minotaur? Okay.
Yeah. So that is I'm excited to see what they're gonna give us. And it's coming up pretty soon. It comes out at the end of March, mid-March.
Yeah, March 17th.
Super excited.
Good God. It's all happening. Get ready, people.
Mr. Yasmin 300 in the chat says, last thing I saw Lucy Liu in a project was the TV show Elementary.
Oh, yes.
For anybody who has not watched Elementary, I don't know where it's streaming right now. I think it was on CBS, but it is a modern take on the Sherlock Holmes story. And she does play Watson,
Right.
Dr. Watson. So instead of John, they made her Joan Watson. And I will say this right now. When I first heard, because like I was very conflicted because I was like, God, I love me some Lucy Liu.
Right.
Because I think she's awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, if they cast a female in the Watson role, which is fine, I was just worried that they were going to turn that friendship that Sherlock and Watson had into a romantic thing, which has never happened. Right. And I was with every episode, I was like, oh, please don't do it. And I'm happy. I don't care if it's spoiling it. They never do it because I don't want it to stop people from watching it. They never cross that line. Not even close.
Right.
Not even close. And I was so like, that was a solid show.
Yeah.
Natalie, what's her name? From, oh God, she played Maury. Well, oh, I just spoiled it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Look, John Noble's in it. Lucy Liu's in it. Natalie Dormer, she's in it.
Oh.
She's fantastic. You guys gotta watch it.
She's got
Johnny Lee Miller.
Natalie Dormer has got to be playing what's her face, the character from Sherlock Holmes, the one that Rachel McAdams played in the movie. I can't remember.
Nope.
Irene Adler. Yeah, Irene Adler. Is that her? Is that
you're like you're kind of right.
Okay.
You got to watch it because they keep. Oh man, when she finally came on the show, I was like, how many episodes is she going to be in? Because this is Natalie Dormer we're talking about. Like she's a great actress, tons of credits. So
she's not coming for a one-off.
Nope. No, she's fantastic.
Yeah, it's on Hulu now here in the States. It is not on Paramount Plus, even though it was on CBS, because I guess Elementary, before Paramount Plus was formed, Elementary had already been on, so maybe they have a deal there with Hulu. All 7 seasons are on Hulu if you want to watch. And it's old school procedural, so it means 22 episodes per season. So it's a hell of a thing to dive into. But I've always wanted to watch it myself because Lindley, the Lady Outlaw, has told me numerous times how much she enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
So maybe.
And I really did enjoy Johnny Lee Miller's take on Sherlock. Like he wasn't trying to emulate, Benedict Cumberbatch's version of Sherlock. It was very much his own, and it captured because Sherlock is a very nuanced character.
Right.
Like way too smart, way too book smart, street smart, but doesn't like communication skills, not the best. Runs away from his problems, plays the violin to run away from his problems. Like all of that is really, really well portrayed in the show. They even brought in like his team of like the irregulars.
Oh yeah.
They introduced that later on the season as well. Nice. So like solid.
Okay.
Solid show.
I like that. I will find a way to watch that at some point. Okay. Where are we off to next here, Wendy?
We got to talk about Critical Role, baby.
Oof.
Critical Role. Critical Role, who has currently one season of their animated show based on their first campaign, The Legend of Vox Machina. Yeah. That happened already. And now, because they've already been greenlit for season 3, like season 2 is happening right now on Prime Video with the 3rd season greenlit. I don't know for The Legend of Vox Machina if we're going to get another season, because I've heard that this season what they're dealing with is the Chroma Conclave arc, which has to do with the dragons, and that's going to spill over into season 3. That's like the fan theory. I don't know if any of the cast or showrunner have like come out and said it, and they do. I don't remember. So there potentially is room for a 4th season, because the way the campaign ends, which I do know how it like. I figured they'd want to get to that, but so I was like not even at home, and I saw this news. So Amazon has signed a deal with Critical Role for overall TV and first look film deal.
Yeah.
Multi-year. So they will be producing a ton of stuff, including a second animated series that has been greenlit, and that's going to be based on the second campaign called The Mighty Nine. And Rocha, I tell you, Dustin was shocked
Yeah.
at my reaction because I just like I just screamed. I was like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "What?" And I was trying to read the headline out loud, and I just started crying. And I'm like, "Who am I?
You're
Who
just
am
happy
I
for
right
people.
now?"
You're happy for the things you love. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The Mighty Nine got me through the pandemic.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it was the lockdown happened.
Yeah.
I'm just like walking circles in the house, can't go anywhere other than walk the dogs. Like can we go to the grocery store? And nobody was like really allowed to go, and like like it was kind of like just it was weird, right? We didn't know
Yeah.
how to navigate just people didn't know
Right.
really how to navigate a global pandemic because there's no handbook for it. We do now though. So there's that.
Yeah.
So I knew that Dustin was working his way through campaign 1, and he
Okay.
was, like, at the tail end of it, and I
Right.
was like, "Well, it's too late for me to jump on that bandwagon with him,
Right.
but I can totally jump on The Legend of, the Mighty Nine
Oh, you're right.
with him."
Okay.
So I started watching it, and I tell you, in 1 episode, which is about a 3+ hour, 4-hour session because it's live
Yeah.
streamed, them playing through the campaign, rolling dice, battling, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I fell in love with the characters in the first episode, every single
Wow.
one of them. The
Wow.
way they introduced themselves, they meet in a tavern, and there's a way for them to and it was so brilliant that I got attached
Yeah.
immediately. I don't usually get attached to things that quickly, like, it takes a little bit.
Right.
Right away, I was, like, obsessed. I was like, "Who are these people? Who are these voice actors?
Wow.
Tell me everything about them. I'm invested in these characters." I was looking up fan art. Because the campaign had been going for a little bit, so
Yeah.
we had a lot of catching up to do. So I'm really happy because I kept on thinking every single time I watch The Legend of Vox Machina, I think, "Man, I really hope that fans keep streaming this and the numbers are good and Amazon's seeing it and happy with it so that they can make another animated series for the Mighty Nine." That's been my hope all along. Like, I love
Yeah.
Vox Machina, but, like, Mighty Nine is, like, my jam.
Yeah.
So, that's why the tears of happiness, 'cause
Wow.
they did it. They made it happen.
That's great.
These characters are so freaking wacky, the storyline is crazy, like, if you think Vox Machina is crazy, just you wait, 'cause there's because it's all role play, right? It's
Yeah.
reactionary, and the dice tells the story. It dictates what choices the character has made.
Yeah.
So it can't be scripted, but because they're voiceover actors and they're good at improv,
Yeah.
you gotta go with the role, and that's what creates this amazing story for both of these campaigns.
Yeah. There was a video that dropped yesterday, was it?
Mm,
Or a few days ago
mhm.
from Critical Role. And the character that Ashley's playing
Yasha.
has a child or something like that. And nobody sees it coming. And she improvs it and it breaks everyone. It
A
almost breaks everyone.
child?
Like,
Oh!
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I saw it and I was like, "Oh my god, this is genius. This is absolute genius." Because it
Yeah, these guys, so, I mean, you play D&D, you
yeah,
kind of with us, like, you write your own backstory.
yeah,
So the only person that really knows all of your true history is yourself as the player and the
right,
DM
right.
who, does have every right to know so they can work that into the campaign. So I think the way that they did that campaign,
Yeah.
telling the story was really good. And they filmed most of that through COVID. They actually had
Wow.
to pause for a little bit and figure out how to keep everybody safe and how to keep doing the shows, how to, be okay with their mental health. Like it
Right.
was a lot. Like that show got me and I'm sure many other critters through the pandemic.
Yeah. I know a lot of people reach out and ask us about it and ask if you've watched the most recent campaign or if you've explored it and all of that. So no surprise. It's incredible because I remember being at Geek and Sundry doing a show with
Yeah.
Yuri. Yuri Lowenthal and I had our show that we
Mhm.
did, Super Animation Game Time that we did over at Geek and Sundry.
Mhm.
And I remember him telling me about Critical Role, like the beginnings of this Critical Role stuff. They had no concept about how big it was going to be and how people were going to gravitate to it. But it's a great collection of really cool people. And so to see that it's kind of blown up in the way that it has is a good thing. And so your tears are probably coming from, hey, something good happened to good people in this business, which isn't always the case. So
Right.
maybe there's that
Right.
sense of like there's hope. There's hope out there for people who want to have hope for this kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's great.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So super excited, and the folks over at Critical Role are going to be really, really busy. I don't really know what the multi-year overall deal means. I
Yeah.
assume that there, aside from the Mighty Nine, there's a couple of other campaigns like the Exandria Unlimited, which is, so Exandria is kind of like the world
Yeah.
that everything is based on, and they've had like separate but connected campaigns, so they could
Right.
essentially turn that into either like a feature film length
Yeah.
animated movie for that, or they can make it like a mini series. I don't know, but it's very exciting, and they have a lot of great story to tell. They have their team of writer, and I assume that they're going to continue to work with Titmouse
Oh
on
yeah, sure.
further projects, future projects.
Yeah.
Like everything it's lining up and sounds great to me. It
Yeah.
just makes me really happy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome
Yeah.
stuff for sure. We have an update to our Tomb Raider story from earlier in the
Oh,
show, Wendy. This just came
okay.
over the wire on Hollywood Reporter. Sources tell the Hollywood Reporter, and this is, let me give proper credit to Leslie Goldberg, who's reporting this. Sources tell
Mhm.
the Hollywood Reporter that the retail giant and streamer Amazon has teamed with Dimitri M. Johnson's DJ2 Entertainment for a massive rights deal to make a Tomb Raider feature film in addition to the newly announced TV series from Phoebe Waller-Bridge and at least one video game in the Lara Croft franchise. The idea is to build out a connected world of Tomb Raider with the video game, TV series, and film all interconnected in a fashion akin to what Marvel has already accomplished. So essentially, a Tomb Raider verse, a Raider verse, or a Tomb verse, if
Whoa.
you will. And the video game was announced in December with additional games in the franchise considered likely. This is all according to the Hollywood Reporter.
Mhm.
They described it, according to a source here, as one of the biggest or one of the largest commitments at Amazon after Lord of the Rings. So, yeah,
Wow.
and Amazon spent $250 million on Lord of the Rings for the Rings of Power situation. So, this is very interesting because DJ2 Entertainment put this whole thing together, and they apparently spent the past year plus working out rights to the property. So, yeah, very interesting situation. And DJ2 co-produced Sonic the Hedgehog, which of course you brought up
Mhm.
earlier. So
Mhm.
to know that they've got a history of doing well with these adaptations, I think that speaks volumes as well about this whole situation. So it seems like they're creating a Tomb Raider verse here. Amazon is. So they clearly see that the possibilities, if they do it right, could yield a lot of benefits for them. And look, a lot of people like that Rings of Power. Some people
Yeah.
didn't, but a lot of
Right.
people did. So,
Right.
yeah, why not?
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. Good catch on that.
Yeah, Jenny. Wendy, as you know, we got to spend money to make money. So clearly, they want to spend some money here to make some money off the Tomb Raider situation.
Yeah,
So
for
we shall
sure.
see.
All in the game says the TRU, the Tomb Raider universe.
Yeah, exactly. Put it together. Brandon saying, I really like the National Treasure series as I did the films. If the series leads to more successful sequels for the movie, is it the best part of Nick Cage's legacy, like Iron Man was to RDJ? I, I, I don't think it's the same thing because RDJ never won an Oscar outside, of the Marvel stuff, whereas Nick Cage has. Nick Cage was an established name doing premiere work for a while. Then National Treasure comes along in the 2000s and he kind of takes a tour into doing action stuff. And certainly
Mhm.
his career has been kind of, hit or miss depending on the movie for the last few years. But with Robert Downey Jr., there hasn't been much outside of Marvel that he's necessarily succeeded at as the lead actor. So I think him and Marvel are intertwined forever, whereas Nick Cage and National Treasure, not
So many
necessarily the same
things.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Wendy?
Yeah. You can see him in Pig. He's got
Yeah,
that Dracula movie coming in Renfield.
yeah, Renfield. Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I think they're both successful, both talented. Doesn't it take
Yeah,
anything away from that? But I don't think it's quite the same.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so let's take another quick break, and then we'll jump into the back half of the show here as we wrap up in a few minutes. All right, Wendy, where are we off to next?
Do we feel like you and Jeff have already talked about Oscar noms? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's skip it. You guys can go watch that episode on the VOD. I'm sure. I don't know what. I feel like you and I probably are a little bit more in sync. Jeff is like the unpredictable one.
Yeah, we battle. If you want to watch us yell at each other for about 20 minutes on hot mic, you can watch the episode from yesterday. I mean, we went.
What did you yell at him about?
About the whole Andrea Riseborough nomination situation, and Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler being the
Got snubbed.
Yeah, and being the indirect result of direct result of getting Andrea Riseborough's nomination, because I thought it was really unfair that a bunch of these actresses got together and essentially rigged the election for Andrea Riseborough, and it cost a woman of color her possible slot as a nominee.
What do you mean got together, and how do you do that?
You didn't see the camp. Kate Winslet, a bunch of these actresses were friends of Andrea Riseborough, got together and basically leaned on some people to vote for her for To Leslie. I think that's the name of the movie. And to me, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, I've seen a lot of black writers in our sphere and our punditry speak about the fact that it essentially cost Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler a slot here because they used their power and influence to change people's votes or to influence them to vote a certain way. So now the Academy is looking into it today. They announced today they were looking into how this happened. So, it's not a good look. But Jeff's counter is, well, Viola Davis has friends. Viola Davis has celebrity friends, and it's not even the fucking same thing. So
that doesn't mean you should do it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she felt the integrity would be sacrificed by influencing her friends.
I think Viola just wants to make film, man. I think she just wants to be an actor. Like, I don't think she's looking at the politics of what could go with like the award season. You know what I'm saying? I think she just wants to make movies and play characters and breathe life into them. Honestly, does she have an Oscar? She's been nominated. Viola
does have an Oscar
for Fences.
Yes, for Fences, right?
Yes,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we just had back and forth about it, and we're still going back and forth about it on Twitter as recently as about an hour ago. So, but that's what makes the hot mic fun. Jeff and I are East Coast boys, and we will just beat each other up to pieces, but we're friends afterwards. So it's just the way it works with us. But yeah, Wendy, you must feel so proud. So many, and I hope I can say this without walking into a minefield. So many incredible Asian actors being nominated, especially on the heels of stuff that's been happening again over the last few weeks and the last few months here. To see the Academy recognizing so many incredible contributions from Asian actors and Asian performers I think it's a great thing. It's going to be fun to see on Oscars night.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for all the nominations that Everything Everywhere at Once has gotten. Obviously, the big Cinderella story for Ki Hee Kwang there. Yes. But his performance backs that up. It's not just a comeback story and people are jumping on the bandwagon. Like, the man is good, and he never gave up. He never stopped training. He stayed in the industry even though he wasn't on camera.
Right.
So I think he was always working. He never gave up on the dream, and that's what's so admirable. And now he's literally going to be in everything to make up for all those years of him not working. So I'm really happy. I'm really hoping, I know it's not up to me, I don't vote in the Academy, but I hope that they look at Michelle's character Evelyn in Everything Everywhere at Once and just realize how layered and nuanced that character is. And there's so much to it than just middle-aged woman who runs a laundromat who is an immigrant. There's so much that's a part of her, but there's so much more to it. So congratulations to the entire team, to Everything Everywhere, and I will probably cry if they win, just like I did for Parasite.
And listen, and don't think Stephanie Hsu is out of the conversation of winning. We've seen Best Supporting Actress go to people that nobody anticipated would win. So it's one of the most unpredictable categories.
And she's in a stacked category too.
Yeah. It can go either way. They can split the votes. It can go so many different directions.
And they give out 2 awards.
Yeah, a tie. But yeah, and Hong Chau, who is fantastic in The Whale. It's going to be so interesting to see who ends up getting that thing.
I feel like people don't know her as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like she wasn't just in the whale this year; she was also in the menu.
Yes.
And people forget, and like those characters are not the same. And then she was in that. What's that Matt Damon movie where they got to move to like a community, but they all had to be shrunken down?
Oh, downsizing. Yeah.
She was in that, and that was
Right.
actually my first time watching her in a film. And I said,
Mm.
"Who is she? Keep your eyes on her." And I think by then she's already been established, but like
Right. Right.
I was like, "Wow."
She makes very interesting choices, and
Yeah.
you like her as an actress because if she's kind of daring in the things that she chooses to be in, and she's gonna be in an episode of Poker Face, which is the new series with
On
Natasha
Peacock.
Lyonne. That's on
Mhm.
it's on Peacock. Yeah.
Oh, she was also in Watchmen.
Yeah, she was remember she was the one with the clocks and stuff when
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
all that
That's
time stuff.
right.
That was Hong Chow. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Gosh, she's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, her choices, and they're not the same, obviously, like, the
Yeah.
technique is different, but she reminds me of how, like, Jodie Comer will make certain choices
Oh, yeah.
as,
100%.
like, Villanelle, where I'm like, "What the heck?" I was like, "Is that written or is that a choice?" And it's just I think they both have, like, really good instincts, and I
Yeah,
just I love Hong Chow
she's
or
great.
Hong Kao.
Yeah, and she
Great.
was also in, oh god, what am I trying to remember here? Yeah, Inherent Vice. What else am I trying to think of for her? Oh, Big Little Lies, right. She was in, like, 6 episodes of Big Little Lies as well, so certainly a good pedigree of work for Hong Chow.
And she was so different in that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just none of her characters are alike,
Yeah, so
which
she's a
is
good
great.
actress.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here, Wendy. Is it time to jump into our thing?
Let's
Let's
do
do it.
it.
Yeah. Good stuff here. We're into our what's trending section here as we enter into the last lap of the show here. Wendy, what do we got trending?
In Kpop Corner, starting off as always, not too much news.
Hmm.
Just that YG have released more videos of the upcoming girl group that they probably will debut this year, Baby Monster. They
Cool.
released a video of Asa and Chiquita, and
Yeah.
two very different vibes. Asa is obviously she's rapper line, so she is rapping in her video, showcasing her skills. And then we have Chiquita, who is of Thai descent,
Mhm.
and she is singing in her video, showing off her vocal ranges. And it it I like them. They are super talented. They're so cute.
Okay.
Chiquita is 13,
Ooh,
and she's gonna
so
debut this year. So
mhm.
it makes me feel really weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember for as long as I followed K-pop, like second generation, even third generation, there's ever been an idol, male or female, have debuted
Yeah.
under the age of like 17 at the youngest. And even
Mhm.
then, I don't even think that's true. Like as I said, I think 19 was Blackpink's youngest member when they debuted. And
Right.
also at that time, like I was young, you know what I'm saying? So like now I'm looking at, there's a group called New Jeans, and they're very
Yeah.
young, they're super cute. And I just feel like I thought 11, 12, 13 is like when you enter the trainee program
Right.
and then you debut at your youngest 16. That's what I think. Like Rose, when she went in to YG, Rose is a part of Blackpink, I think
Yeah.
she was 14, her and Lisa both, and it took them 5 years because they were both 19, 18 or 19 when they debuted.
Wow.
And I think that's just it's weird. Like I feel like for me anyways, it kind of takes away it's very distracting from like what I'm supposed to be looking at on the screen, because I am wowed by their skills. And I was like, wow, if they're like this at 13,
Yeah.
what are they going to sound like when they're 18, 25? Like they're only going to continue to improve as they gain experience. But I'm also thinking like the pressure of being a K-pop idol in the very public eye when you debut and you're 13. Maybe she'll turn 14 by the time they debut. I don't know. And
Yeah.
I think she's the youngest of the group. It's just like still kind of shocking to me. I actually didn't finish watching her like singing video. I couldn't. I kept on looking at the number 13. I'm like, she is 13? Why are we debuting them at 13?
Mm.
And she's singing this song. It's like, about relationships. And that's another thing I noticed.
Yeah.
Her voice is so pretty. and
Mhm.
you can tell she's got great control. She's got a great tone. Obviously, no deny to her talent, but
Yeah.
she's singing this song, and I felt like there was something missing, not in the quality of the sound
Uh-huh.
and not in the way she was singing it, but
Right.
it's that internal feeling, right?
Yeah.
Of you sing like a song about breakup, about heartbreak,
Yeah.
and you can sing it from your heart. And you could put that emotion into it because you've been through it,
Right.
or have some kind of a you can relate to it. And she just sing like I don't feel like she truly understood the songs, the meaning behind the lyrics, and she's
Mhm.
just singing. She hit all the notes like 110%. But
Right.
that's kind of what I felt, and that's why I feel like they got to be a little bit older
Yeah.
to debut, just to have some more to mature. You
Mhm.
know? Yeah.
Sure. Sure. I can't comment on this because again, Wendy's the one that walks me into this world, so I don't feel like I can have a comment about something like this because I don't know the cultural parameters of things like this. So
Yeah, I don't really know.
yeah.
Zach Mendoza is saying that JK from BTS, who is also the youngest of the group,
Mm.
was young, like 15. See, like I think that's very young. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess I could work at young. I still wouldn't say it's ethically right though. Yeah. Exactly. So there you go.
yeah. The
All
labor
right.
rule, I think it's very different, and I don't know what it's like there.
Right.
I have no idea, like, how
Right.
to look into, like, but it's kinda like here, we have kid actors, and they
Would
they
you?
all get, like, a Coogan account, and I don't know if that's how it works over there. I doubt it's the same, but I just
Yeah.
hope that the company can help protect them when they finally debut.
Right. That's what you want. You don't
Yeah.
want any kind of yeah, exactly. You want them to be able to, be safe, I guess, in the
Mhm.
in the end. Yeah. Okay. Well, what more do we have here?
We're talking some theme park stuff. I decided to add
Oh
in
yeah.
some theme park stuff because that's what I've been going to. Uh
Did you go to the 100th celebration?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
not, and I'm okay with that because I don't have time to go and see that later, and also getting to cover Disney,
Yeah.
like, like, that's not the easiest thing to get on that list.
Oh, good. Fair
I
points.
haven't tried, but,
Right. Right. Right.
I could email the person. I haven't tried, but I also it's fine if I don't cover it right now because I am too damn busy with
Yeah.
15 million other things. So it's just a little FOMO, which is fine. Disneyland, I have Dustin and I renewed our passes.
Oh,
So
cool.
we'll have another year of Disney.
Yes.
So we'll go. It's not like the 100, Disney 100 celebration is going away. It's going to be a year
Right.
long celebration at the park. So I will have time to see it before the year's over. But I do want to talk about this new thing that just came to Universal Studios
Okay.
Hollywood City Walk. It is open today. Do you mind pulling up like a photo
Is this it?
of this place? Yes. So that is the one in Florida, but the one here looks
Okay.
essentially the same. It's a little bit smaller because it's on City Walk in our room.
Let me
We
find
they Florida has more land than we do. But this is as far as real estate within the park, the theme parks.
Yeah.
But this is called the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium.
Oh
It
shit! They
is
put it where the Hard Rock
they
Cafe is.
Yes!
Oh wow!
Yes, they
Hold on.
transformed the whole thing. It is 2 floors.
Yes.
And it's got, as you can see on the picture
There it is.
there it
Yeah.
is. That is it. And
Wow.
that's yeah. And what's cool is those you see those pipes, they all like have steam and mist and lights coming out
Oh
of it. You can really
wow.
see it at night. And it makes sound. It's really cool. And it's open today. So you can go in for dining specifically. You will need a reservation. I don't know if that's forever, but you
Yes.
will need a reservation for dine-in because it sounds like a dessert shop, and they do have that
Shit.
aplenty.
Shit.
But it is full service restaurant with savory food. They have like mushroom risottos and
Oh man.
cocoa marinated pork tenderloin. I had that yesterday. So
Ooh.
I got to go to the tasting yesterday
Oh nice.
and it was incredible. So I ate I like ate too much where I was like, I can't even have breakfast. I ate way too much because they have the savory foods, they
Yeah.
have chocolates, candies, they have a whole milkshake bar,
Yeah.
they have a bar, and they have a gift shop. So it's like a one-stop shop in there. And they have characters. It's all like steampunk
Right.
themed.
Right.
So it's there's a couple characters and there's a girl named Professor Penelope and she has a pet octopus. and it's people dressed up in the costume,
Right.
and they meet and greet you at the table, and they're in character. It is so cool to see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at their selections here. Some
Mhm.
interesting combination. A chicken
Yeah.
bourguignon, brisket and wild mushroom meatloaf, braised short ribs, salmon. They've got you know, crispy prosciutto burger, a Tour de France burger.
Mhm.
It's fascinating. It's really good choices. And for the appetizers, coffee and chocolate stout chicken wings. I've never heard that combo before. Kettle chip nachos and chocolate almond bread. Good night.
Yeah. It's very different, and I think it's cool.
I'm
I think
intrigued.
it's a really cool concept. It's a whole dining experience, and the shakes, you know how you always
$16, Wendy. Wow. Yes.
for what?
The shakes. Ooh.
What?
The shakes are $16. The red velvet, 15. The cookie jar, 16. The key lime, 14.50. Strawberry cheesecake, 15. Confetti, $16. These are all $16 to $15. Woof.
That's expensive. I didn't realize that when I was eating it.
What did John Travolta said that in Pulp Fiction? I just want to taste what a $5 milkshake tastes like. What does a $16 milkshake taste like? Sweet Jesus.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow. Okay. So here's what I had yesterday, and these all look like they are vegan because
Oh.
they have the V and G next to it.
Okay.
I tried. By the way, so we walked in, we checked in, right, and they have people welcoming you to the team. They're all excited because it's like
Yeah.
a little event. They've already been doing soft opening all week, but last night was like a special tasting open house sort of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
YouTubers, you know, Peter and Kitra, Peter from Slash Film,
Oh,
Ordinary
yes.
Adventures, they were there, so we chatted with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
So as you walk in, there are just staff with a full tray of jars, like all done up
Yeah.
of milkshakes. And so I started to take a video, and they're like, "Do you want one?" I was like, "Oh, I thought this was for picture." They're like, "Well, yes, but you can also have said milkshake
Wow.
if you would like." So like I was like, "Okay." Now what? And then they're coming up to me. They're like, "Would you like some food?" I was like, "I need more hands." We tried the red velvet milkshake, the espresso buzz,
Yeah.
and the Thrilla in vanilla. I only had enough room for that because they also fed us dessert. There was a whole dessert buffet out back on the patio, on the balcony.
Right. Wow.
Can you pull up a photo of some of their milkshakes? Because
Let me see.
they're one of those you guys have seen on Instagram, these milkshakes that are just crazy creative, super, like, it's not just a milkshake in a cup, it's in like a fun little jar. The whipped cream is overflowing. They decorate with cookies and like a full freaking cupcake on top.
Oh,
Let me see if I can pull one up.
Here,
Okay.
let me see if I can pull. Yeah, let me put it up on the screen. Sweet Jesus Christ.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God.
Those are it. So I didn't try any of those yesterday, but essentially that is what they look like. The one all the way to the right is the funfetti milkshake, and here's the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that insane or what? I had 3 of those. Well, Dustin and I shared,
Wait,
but
you had 3 of these full?
okay. I don't think they were full because when I picked up the jar, but the jar was like, it looked like it was full. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But here's the thing. That's the vanilla one with the macaron on top, and I was just blown away at how good it is because it's not. You know how you feel kind of heavy after a milkshake, your stomach just drops. It's a lot of dairy, and now that I know from looking at the menu that a lot of these look like they are vegan, that's probably why my stomach didn't even hurt once.
Wow. Oh, good question by Alan. Do you get to keep the jar?
I don't know because
$16. Give me the
you probably do. Because okay, here's the concept. Is it's a restaurant and a dessert and a bar and a gift shop, right? It's all of it in one. So if you want to go in and sit down and have a meal like savory food, right now you need, I don't know if later on they do away with the reservation, but I imagine it's going to be a hot commodity for a while.
Yeah.
So if you can't make a reservation, do call and get a reservation. But if you're walking by, you're leaving Universal Studios, or you're just hanging out City Walk and you want a milkshake, there is another entrance where you can go in and there is a milkshake area, like a full bar. It looks like an ice cream parlor. And there's like tons of choices and you can order one. And I assume that you don't have to be there and like to finish it. I assume that you can just take it with you. So, but I don't have like the exact answer for that.
I mean,
I assume so.
I'm so glad I'm not working there anymore because I would have to walk by that to my car every day. And it was always a struggle when the Wetzel Pretzels was there to not get
It
us.
smells so good.
I love the Wetzels, man. I love those pretzel bites of the Wetzels.
This is why you park at Jurassic and then you can just Walter's Gate up those escalators and leave.
It's a smart move. That's a smart move. No, I would always walk by.
Or Frankenstein. That's where I would park.
Yeah. So it would drive me insane. I just texted Shannon, our friend at Universal, and I said, this place looks awesome. And he goes, well, I think maybe you need to come up and have dinner with us there. And I'm like, God damn it.
You should do it.
In LA twice. I don't want to go back again, but
come on.
Awesome. Oh my God.
Come on.
Oh.
Yeah. Zach Mendoza says in the chat, reminds me of the Black Tap milkshakes at Downtown Disney. Yes, the decoration reminds me of that. I will say the presentation here is cleaner than the Black Tap, and I say cleaner not as in like sanitary. They're all like follow the food protocols.
Right.
I mean that none of the ones that I got, and they were like pumping them out, and some of them were like, they're walking around the tray, nobody was taking it because they were like overfeeding us.
Yeah.
I never once saw ice cream drizzle out the side of the jar, making the jar all sticky. With Black Tap, I've noticed that a lot, or like the whipped cream starts to like off the side and the presentation's out the door. Right. The whipped cream that they have is a lot more like, they don't taste heavier. But they look heavier. Like everything that I tasted as dessert wise, nothing was heavy. Nothing hit my stomach like, oh, I can't have anymore. And if they're vegan, like plant based, that explains a lot because I didn't feel bad at all.
Right.
At all. Some of the other desserts, they have a chocolate creme brulee. They have a chocolate, like a darker chocolate potted cream. They have a chocolate chip bread pudding that tasted like a giant fresh thick cookie straight out of the oven where the inside is still gooey. That's what it tasted like to me. Wow. With the crunchy corners. So good. And they have tons of food. It's not just like savory. They also have like pancakes. They have s'mores. Wow. They have a ton of stuff.
Man. All right.
Make your reservation, Rocha.
I guess so. I have to reach out to the guys. Maybe next Saturday.
Yeah.
Fredtastic says, hey, John and Wendy, this Amazon news and Tomb Raider verse sparks a question. What existing property would you like to see become a universe? For me, it's the Knives Out property. A video game would be interesting. Ooh.
I like that.
Current.
What properties would I like that's not being made?
Let's see here.
So Vox Machina Critical Role is out because they're already building that universe on Amazon. Let's see.
The franchise should become a universe. Good question.
Franchise.
Everything is so connected already.
Yeah, we got the MCU, the DCU, we got Knives Out.
Yeah.
Critical Role, Tomb Raider, Avatar, Last Airbender is already that's happening.
Is the Mario, right? You would imagine if the animated film comes off well,
yeah,
I think an animated series would be fantastic.
We just got to get greenlit by Nintendo,
right?
Who is very, very strict.
What about a Sherlock Holmes verse? What about a Holmes verse?
That'd be great. They can bring back Elementary.
That's what they
do it that way.
Elementary, bring back Benedict Cumberbatch, Martin Freeman, Robert Downey Jr., and Jude
Law. Multiverse because it can be weird like that. The irregulars, bring them in.
All the Sherlocks coming back.
I love that.
Even the fucking TV Sherlocks, if
they would be so annoyed with one another. It'd be so funny to see. They would all hate each other.
Of course, they'd all be and
like the characters, not the actors.
Right, exactly. And then all the Watsons would look at each other and go, gee,
they would all be in agreement and be like, wow. They're like, I know, right? Nobody gets us. Look what we have to put up with.
Like Harvey Guillen, whenever he'd hang out with the other familiars. In What We Do in the Shadows, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Would be that kind of vibe.
Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be
funny. Oh, yeah. Good suggestion, Travis. Blade Runner verse. I would love a Blade Runner verse. Love a Blade Runner verse. I don't care if the movies don't make money. I would still want a Blade Runner verse to see and explore that world even more. The new animated series that came out a few weeks ago, I've still got to watch that. I found a bunch of videos recently of people who've done these incredible compilations of the music for like 2 to 2.5 hours that I just use to like veg out or to write. So yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah, I'd be down with that.
I would like this is a book series that I actually just finally completed.
Okay.
It's by Brandon Sanderson, and it's the Skyward series, so it's
Okay.
sci-fi.
Okay.
So he wrote 3 novels, 3 series in the sort of saga essentially, but he also wrote as a companion to it 3 novellas based on each a different character that's within that universe and within that story and their point of view while everything else was still happening.
Yeah.
So I just got to the end of it, but there is also more story. Like if he felt like writing more to add on, because I kind of want more. I can see him and that story being approached for a series.
Yeah.
Netflix or I say put it on Prime Video or HBO Max. I honestly think they do it a little bit better. Like I think some of the Netflix series, the adaptations, aside from Bone and Shadow, Shadow and Bone, sorry, sometimes like I look at, Cowboy Bebop and I'm like, "Oh, what happened?"
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
What happened? Where yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did you mess this up? All right.
Oh, yes, Mr. Yasmin 300. Yes,
Yeah.
that is the author who finished The Wheel of Time after Robert Jordan passed away.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing here, Wendy, before we get into our reviews and get out of here. What do you got? What do you got?
Oh, we're talking about theme park stuff. So right now it is Lunar New Year. We're celebrating. So a couple of theme parks have celebrations. Universal Studios, one of them. And I can't say because I haven't visited, so I haven't seen it. But I've seen it in the years past, and it's cute. And there's food and there's characters. It's kind of contained within the Universal Plaza there. And then I visited the one at Disney California Adventure, where like a third of their park is like dedicated to the decoration, the shows, and everything, and it runs from now until February 15th. So if you want to check it out, some exclusive merch that they've got going on there. They have live performances. There's a cool like little mini Mulan parade.
Yeah.
There is Laura Sirico and I went, and so I had like because I knew I wanted to film content, so I looked up what performances was going to be there so I can build it into my shoot schedule for the day to know what time am I doing this, what time do I have to eat and look at this, whatever. There is this new act that they had never had before, and they're called Vocal Soul, but Soul spelled like Seoul Korea, Seoul.
Oh, wow.
And so immediately my brain went to K-pop. And then I went to, they're an a cappella group. They're probably all Korean. So I looked them up, and indeed, they're Korean or Korean American singers that form this a cappella group, and they sing covers, a cappella covers of popular K-pop songs, and they also added a folk song in there as well, which I think is really important. Yeah, so they kind of sang it traditionally, and then halfway through they transitioned that to more of like a poppy version of it, and I think that's really they do that in every set, and I think that's really important because like Korean music isn't just about K-pop.
Right.
There's a lot more, but they do sing BTS songs. So Laura and I went crazy. They sang a Blackpink song. They sing How You Like That, and they sang a song by Twice, the In My Feels. So it's funny, like the people around me, we were waiting for them to go on. They're fantastic, and they're only perform on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you want to see them, you won't find them during the week, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they will be there. Wow. They started to sing the song by Twice, and this person was like, "Oh, I saw their set the other day. This is one of their original songs." And I was like, and because it's a cappella, I didn't recognize it right away.
Yeah.
And then when they hit the chorus, I go, "Oh, this is not original. This is Twice." So I started doing the choreography. And the guy's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, you know the dance." I was like, "This is a very popular group named Twice that they are." It has 9 members.
I know all about this. Please.
I know about this. And I feel like I got a message from one of the singers after the show because we like met up with them like during their break. We saw them and we just wanted to say hi and take a picture with them. And so I tagged them on Instagram, and then they wrote me. They're like, "Hey, like it was kind of cool that you guys were so hyped during our set because it really helped our energy. Because like while BTS is quite commercially known, some of the other songs aren't.
Yeah.
And they're not singing in all English. They're singing in part English, part Korean, because that's how K-pop music is.
Yeah.
So I was happy that we were there. We saw 2 of their sets that we were just screaming. I was like, I need a light stick. I was like, how do I function without a light stick when I'm listening to this music?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe when I go one more time on the weekend before this thing ends, I'll bring my light stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
That'd be fun.
I'll light it up for them. Yeah.
Sure. That'd be smart.
So they can perform to somebody with a light stick.
Yes, we know this. All right. And then let's jump into, I guess, coming soon. What we recommend, Wendy? Anything you got on the recommendation or anything you want to suggest as we wrap up?
I got it coming soon, and this is just because we have so many theme park news today. I just thought I'd add it. The new ride that is coming to Disneyland. They already have this in Florida, and it took over the Great Movie Ride space, and it's called the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad. And for us, this is going to take place in Toontown, and they're doing previews right now for like the Disney 100. Actually, no, it opened today. I lied. It opened today, and the queue, so it's a virtual queue, so you have to sign onto your app.
Yeah.
And then you have to swipe very quickly, and it refreshes and hope you can get into the queue. And the first set of virtual tickets to get on the ride ran out in less than a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, it's worse than Galaxy's Edge or the Rise of Resistance. Way worse.
Is it all VR or what is it? Or is it?
It's a trackless ride, so it's the same ride technology that they use on Rise of the Resistance, but it's more kid friendly because it's Mickey and Minnie, and you kind of go through the movie screen. It takes place in that very popular, like Mickey cartoon, and you're on like the runaway train that Goofy is driving. So you go through chaos, and it's fun and colorful, and I think it's like animation mixed with maybe some 2D stuff as well. But you don't need to wear stuff.
Okay. Just like we did with the here, let's take a look at some of these real quick.
There you go.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. It's very colorful.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, look at that screen. Crisp.
I know.
Super crisp.
See this goofy stuff. So it does look
that's the train that you're being pulled by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the classic cartoon stuff, all those older animation style.
Right. Look at that family enjoying it. There you go. All right. Oh, cool. All right.
One day I want to be hired to be one of those people that get to go to the park and like shoot like stock photo for Disney.
Oh, right.
I've auditioned many times. I got 2 callbacks for the Galaxy's Edge one.
Oh, so close.
So close, yet so far. I was like, I want to get to ride the ride or be in the parks and get paid.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. I was close. I was happy that I got close.
All right, so let's do some recommendations then. Anything that you recommend?
Ooh, actually, this is so. I would in my little group chat with my K-pop besties girls. I was just kind of like, hey, I'm kind of done with like the last K-drama that I'm watching, and they said, here's the next one that you can get into. So there is like The Glory, which is brand new on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
But it's pretty intense because it's like bullying, and there's bullying in it. Like one of the girls or several of the girls are like bully this one other girl, and it's a revenge drama, and it can get kind of intense. And I was like, I don't know if I want that right now because I have like a lot of anxiety right now. And then so she said the other one is called Goblin, and it's a classic supernatural romantic drama.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That sounds like that is healing to me. And so that is the next bit I am going to hop into in the K-drama round.
Oh, cool. All right. That's awesome. 2 things right now. Poker Face is out on Netflix. The first 4 episodes, I'm sorry, on Peacock. The first 4 episodes are out now. And which is getting all kinds of great reviews. It's great to see Natasha Lyonne coming back with yet another good series from Rian Johnson. So for those of you who are maybe didn't know that, or Glass Onion fans, or even Last Jedi fans, Rian Johnson going into TV here with Poker Face. And then Shrinking. The first 2 episodes of Shrinking are out on Apple TV Plus right now as well. Harrison Ford and Jason Segel. That whole story about a guy, or series about a guy who's a psychiatrist who ends up breaking all the rules and is trying to get the people who are his clients to like stop doing the same things over and over again and using unconventional tactics while he's also dealing with his own issues with addiction. So it's a fascinatingly interesting show. Both of them are out there. Is there any things I'm watching? Oh yeah.
Singo's Inferno.
I know you keep telling me. We just started. We finished off The Amazing Race from 2 years ago.
Nice.
The other day, she's never seen.
Was James Wellington one of the cast members?
No, no. It was the one during COVID where they stopped halfway through and then came back at 19 months later.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was weird. Like they did 3 episodes or 4 episodes. They had eliminated 2 teams, but then they took a.
Oh yeah, my friends were on that.
Oh really? Who
James Wellington, James Wellington, and Will. They were on. Was it 32? Amazing Race 32.
I think so. Yeah. Well, who were they?
Yeah, that's the one they won.
That it wasn't the one I watched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the one I watched was a couple, older couple, male female couple who won. So.
Got it.
But it was a great series. So now she's hooked. So now she wants us applying for it. So if you haven't seen it, that's a fun one. But and I don't.
You'd be so good at it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she'd be great at it. I think I'd be.
No. I think the both of you would. Oh, yeah.
She thinks so too. I don't know.
Because she's a problem solver.
She is. Yes. I mean, we were watching the show and she was like, okay, this is okay. I would do that. You could do that. I would do this. I would do
the two of you would, because you guys work like, well, I don't know how she works under pressure because I never worked with her in that capacity, but I worked with you under pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can handle it. And like something like I'm on Team Lady Outlaw, and I think you should apply for it.
All right. You have to do a whole video and do interviews and stuff. So
not like you don't do that already.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
You already have the advantage. You have the following. They could accept you. It's
true. I mean, the people who won were quote unquote internet personalities. So it's not like it's out of their own possibility.
Yeah.
To be a part of this. So yeah. All right. We'll see what happens. Is there anything else I'm watching? No, Night Courts, but what can I tell you? It's just to throw away and watch for sure. It's not. All right. Well, there we go. Let's wrap up the show there, Wendy. We got to get on with our weekends, and both of us are busy working on a number of things, so we should wrap up. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks for the Streamlabs and the super chats that came through from Brandon and Fred-tastic. We appreciate it madly. Thanks to all of you who've been watching. Please make sure you hit a like on this video and subscribe to the channel down below, trying to get to those 50,000 subscribers by December 31st of 2023. Help me get there, for God's sakes. By the way, I had a meeting with a company today that wants to fund the channel or wants to float us some cash to fund. I don't know much about it, so maybe Wendy and I will have a conversation off mic about it, but just an interesting proposal. Yeah, so
okay.
But we'll see. But anyway, that's all happening here on the channel. Wendy, another fun show. Please let people know where they can find you.
Thank you so much. You can find me on social media. It's just my name at Wendy Lee Zaney. Instagram, Twitter, that's the same. If you want to look for me on TikTok, it's just Wendy Lee Zaney. There's a Wendy Lee Zaney as well. That's me, but I don't post to that one. So just look for Wendy Zaney. Yeah. And of course, YouTube, The Movie Couple, The Last of Us Episode 1 reactions. Part 1 will go up today. Part 2 is still currently in edit, and then we've got a couple of fun theme park vlogs and eating vlogs coming at you as soon as I can edit those.
There you go. Okay.
Just trying to catch up.
Get on board. As for me, follow me always right there at the Rocha Says on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. And my other podcasts that are out there now, the top 10, we've announced that we're wrapping that up. At the end of February, the top 10 will be no more. So come and listen to our last few episodes as we go along the next few weeks. The Geek Buddies is out there, and so is the most recent episode of the Hot Mic, if you want to hear Jeff and I yelling at each other for about 20 minutes about the Oscars. So
do you like yell?
I mean, if you want me to play you a clip, I can play you a clip. But
Can you find it real quick?
Okay. All right, fine. For those of you who want to see
because I feel like in my head, because I've worked with the both of you.
Yes.
And I've seen Jeff yell, and I've never really seen you yell, but I know you have, obviously, the ability to do that. But I feel like
I have the ability to yell. How dare you? I don't know what you're talking about.
I just don't see, like, in my head, I'm picturing it, and like you're saying yelling, and I'm saying
Yeah.
Louder voice is just trying to be louder than the other one.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
But we'll see.
That's usually the way it goes. Louder voices.
Unless you're talking about Jeff on the phone being mad. That's a great face, Rocha.
It is. Things, therefore, the rankings, there have to be more possible nominations because I mean, I don't understand limiting the nominations but increasing the pool. That makes no fucking sense.
What happens, right? What happens when they say we're not going to do 10, but we're going to do 8?
Spyfoot, if women dealing with
the year, and by that math, Maria Schrader. Yeah. They just want everybody to get nominated, but in there, it's like, you can't.
Yeah, and this is something I said to you a few weeks ago, and you said it's ridiculous. I just thought it was completely off base. And really, he's the only one I would remove to put Tom Cruise in. I like that we're having that debate about Tom Cruise.
Are the future of the country. I just don't understand. No, you don't need to publicize the votes.
Why?
I would like to see the vote totals. I would like to see the vote totals.
Because it hurts your sensibilities. Get the fuck out of the Academy. You don't belong there. You should watch everything so you can vote for everything. And you know how I feel about this, Jeff. I think every voter should have their ballot absolutely published in a newspaper or in the website so that we all know who the fuck is voting for who. Because enough of this transparent hiding who you vote for type nonsense.
Do you feel that way about politics too? That we should all know, like I should know whether my neighbor voted for Trump.
Politics is about the future of the country, not a gold statuette. So that's just a sample of what Jeff do.
Okay, it's going about the way I expected. Knowing how the two of you get, yeah. It went about the way I expected. Okay, cool.
I mean, we occasionally get to that
high
high
pitch,
but it's not the whole time. So yeah, we go at it.
Yeah, no, it's a nice balance because when he gets like the hand comes in, I was like, are you from Miami all of a sudden? Because this is what we do when we talk with our people say that to me. People are like, you talk so much with your hands. I'm like, doesn't everybody? And then apparently there are people are saying like, oh, it's a Miami thing. I was like, is it? Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. Wendy goes, is it? I don't think it's Miami. All right. Well, there you go. That's all out there for you all to enjoy and savor as well. But you all take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a great weekend. Be safe and come back and hang out with us next week for another brand new episode of the John and Wendy Show. Peace.